All right, hello everyone. We'll just get you guys up here on my computer. Wow, we are at the midway point of July. And we've got some beautiful weather here in Calgary. There we go. There you are. Great. My computer tells me I'm live. Awesome. Make sure my mic is off. Okay. Fabulous. All right. We're just going to give it a moment to see if anyone has a chance to pop in. Trying out a different time today. All right. I've got Christmas on my mind. I've been playing with the Christmas Cats die set and actually some other Christmas products. But this die set is on its way to the shop. Not sure when it will arrive. Hi, Jenny. But I know I saw it was on the way for all you cat lovers. So I've got the dies all laid out here on my little magnetic thingy. These were all, we have these for a retailer class, so they don't come in the beautiful packaging that you will receive yours in if you decide to purchase the die set. So I thought I'd lay them all out so that you could have a look at what is in each set. So I've got 3 different sets here. How's your day going today, Jenny? Mine's been good, actually. I've got some bookkeeping work to do, so I made a pretty good dent on that this afternoon, so I think I'll be able to finish it tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to getting it done before the weekend and before I go away on vacation next week. So there will not be a Facebook Live next week from me anyways, because I will be away on vacation. Just heading off to BC for a few days. Hello, Jennifer. A roller coaster. Okay, I hope that's a good roller coaster, Jenny, not a bad roller coaster. Fab. Well, let's take a look at these dies. So the card we're going to be making today, we're going to use the Christmas Cats by Yana S. And so the Christmas Cats, I can't quite fit them all in. Let's see, if I turn it this way, then you can see all of them in the Christmas Cats. All right, so we've got, what you will need is your basic die set, the Christmas Cats. And this one has 3 different kitties, and each of them, pardon me, 4 different kitties. And they're just 2 layers, so not a whole ton of die cutting. And then we've got some little backer pieces here, just for coloring the eyes. And then this little piece here, let me grab my little pokey tool to point with. Oh, if I can get the lid off. All right. So these 3 dies, this is the top of the ornament, and then this is the broken ornament. So if you're, and you'll see that in one of the samples I show you later, if the kitty cat's been playing with the ornament and has broken one of them. And then we've got the little bow, little ribbon bow collar for the cat. So that's all included in the Christmas Cat set. And then there's also an accessory die set that coordinates. And so this is what you're going to pick up if you want to build yourself a scene with your kitties. So of course we've got the Christmas tree, the star, our garland. These little guys are for your Christmas lights. And again, I'll show you that on one of the samples. We've got 3 types of Santa hats, and then of course these are the trim pieces for that hat. We've got a sweater for one of our kitties. We've got the string of lights, and then these 2 pieces here are the ribbon that goes around your gift boxes. And then we've got 2 pieces of ribbon you could use on your gift boxes or to decorate your trees with. And then of course we've got our ornaments here, and then the ornament balls here, and then the pot for the tree and the trim. So these 2 sets, lots you can do to create. There's another additional die set that coordinates with this. I forget what it's called. I should have written it down and I forgot to write it down. But it's a window, creates a little window that you can create another scene with. And then you're going to have the coordinating, these are sold separately, the press and foil plates, okay, and then the coordinating dies. So this is all sold in a package together. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different sentiments, all coordinated with Christmas. And I don't want to show you all the samples yet. Where did I put my sentiments? Here's a few of the sentiments here to show you. So we've got have a possum Christmas, Merry Catmas, wishing you a perfect Christmas, and then I'll show you the other sentiments from this set on the other samples. So in a nutshell, those are the die sets. And then of course you have your choice if you want to, fastest way to put them together is to die cut them out of colored cardstock. But I chose to die cut them out of white cardstock, and then we're going to color our pieces, most of the pieces, not all the pieces. So I've got them laid out here. We're not going to use all the cats, but I wanted to show you what they look like die cut. Well, you'll see I used all 4 of them on a different card, so I'll show you that sample later. But we're actually only going to use these 2 cats here. Okay. So you're thinking that's going to take forever to color all those pieces, but it will not take us long at all. So I'm going to set that guy aside. We're not going to use him, but we are going to use this guy here. Okay, so I'll just zoom in a little bit. Hello, everyone who's had a chance to pop in, if I haven't said hello yet. Oh, there we go. Good. I think I got the zoom thing figured out. So I die cut these out of white on Copic marker-friendly paper, and we're going to make this super easy so you can see how quickly you can pull a card together. So I'm going to use this cat. I decided he's going to be all brown. So I'm just going to color that with my 1 marker here. I'm using, this is called Dark Bark. So we're going to color both layers the same color. You could color them 2 different colors, but I'm just going to keep this simple. This is going to be a solid dark brown kitty cat. And again, you can use your colored cardstock as well. I kind of thought, or you can use your ink pads as well. Would be really quick to ink this as well too with your ink pad, just direct to paper. Okay, and then I'm just going to go around the edges a little. Oops, there we go. Just cover up all those white pieces. So this is the bottom layer. And you could make this like a 2 shades of brown if you wanted. Again, we're just going to keep it simple. Awesome. And then here's my layer, my top layer. Same thing, this is going to be an all brown kitty cat, which I did have growing up. That was our cat we called Coco. And she was a dark brown like this. I don't currently have any pets. No cats. I'm actually allergic to cats, funnily enough, and yet I grew up with a cat as a pet. But I do find it all depends on the cat. My sister has had cats all along, and She had one cat in particular I was terribly allergic to. I couldn't be in her house more than 5 minutes before I started sneezing and coughing. But the other two cats she had after, I had no problem with those. And in fact, she's got another cat now, and I seem to be okay around that one. Maybe I'm outgrowing the allergy. Awesome. Okay. So I think we'll glue that guy together right away. Yes, you have Craft Cat, Jenny. Love cat, Craft Cat. Hi, Stacy. All right. And I'm going to pop the reading glasses on that I don't think I need and just make sure I've got this all colored in. Just because sometimes I miss those little tiny areas when I don't put the reading glasses on because I can't quite see them. Okay. We might have to go over a couple of areas here and there to just make sure there's no white peeking through, but for now we're good. All right. So we'll just add a little, use the trusty old glue press, which works great when you're just wanting to get some nice small dabs of glue like I'm doing here. Your first cat thought she was a dog? That's funny. All right. So now we'll line this guy up. And you'll see on this, like when it, when the die cuts, it also gives you little embossed areas where the stripes go. That makes it really easy to line up. And I'm just going to clean up some of this glue. It will dry clear, but put a little bit too much in there. And it looks like, yeah, I might need to go over with the brown marker there. I got just some little tiny pieces of paper stuck there, but I'm just going to make sure this glue dries, and then I'll touch up a few of those little, there's a few little white areas peeking out. So there's our brown cat. Now, while we're at it, we'll do his eyes as well. So this guy's going to have nice green. We're doing a kind of a yellowy green, a YG05, because it's bright. So I'm going to just quickly color that. Now you can layer these eyes. There are a couple of, let me see if I have that piece handy. I'm not going to layer them because I actually was watching somebody else's video the other day. But you can kind of layer these inner pieces here, and then I'll show that to you on some of the other samples. But we're just going to use the solid because that's going to be just much easier to work with. And what I'm going to do is kind of line that up. Let me just get a nice fresh piece here. We're going to line that up here, and I'm going to use my little pokey tool and just make a little mark kind of in the center here of the eyeballs. It's really hard to see. I don't know if you can, the camera can pick it up, but there's just two little indents there. And I'm going to grab, you can just use a fine tip marker or a Sharpie marker, and we're just going to do a little line in between there. That's going to be the pupils of our cat's eyes. Okay, super, super easy way. Again, you can kind of create that look as well, lining up some of those other pieces, but this is probably the simplest way. And now we've got our little kitty cat. This is our mischievous guy. You'll see when we put him on the tree. Okay. So super simple. So we've got that guy done. And now this guy is going to be our black and white cat. So simply going to grab my black marker and again, just do some quick coloring And we're keeping the coloring very simple, just to show you how you can kind of whip something together really quick. And I'm going to go around the edges there so I don't have any white peeking through. All right. So super easy way to kind of customize your colors, especially if you keep your card design simple, then it's very quick to add some color. Okay, then we're going to layer our second layer over top for our black and white kitty. All right. So the nice thing with this being just two layers to the cat, I guess 3 if you think about adding the eyes, makes it very, very easy and quick to put it together. All right. So I'm going to grab this solid piece here, and this one is going to have blue eyes. And so no worries, I may have to trim this backer piece a little bit, but so I'm going to color that with my B04 Tahitian blue. So super simple. All right, and we're going to do the same thing with this. Just going to kind of line it up a little and then just add a little point. Or I kind of want to add a little more detail for the eyes. There we go. So you can see how quick this comes together. It helps too that I die cut everything beforehand. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of move this around so that I can see my little eyes. Aw, there. Awesome. So our kitty cats are, I'm just gonna tilt that a little. Looks a little weird. Okay, so there our kitty cats are done. So now I'm going to, sorry, I keep getting out of camera here. So now I've got, again, these are all the pieces that I'm going to color red, other than these pieces here are actually the trim on the hats. I just kind of wanted you to be able to see. There's one die that cuts out our pom-poms and then the hat trim. Okay, and then this goes with our large present. Here's our sweater. We've got a bit of ribbon. I'm not sure if I'm going to use this ribbon or not. I know I cut it, but I haven't decided if I'm going to use it. But again, I'm going to keep it simple and color all of these pieces red. Again, these are the ornaments. You could color them each a different color, and I'll show you one of the samples where I've done that. But for the purposes of crafting live and being efficient with our time, I'm just going to color them like this. And so what I've done is just kind of place them on the back here of some low tack tape, holds the dies in place so I can color them, and then keeps them all together as well, so I don't lose them. And so I'm just using an R46. So it's called Strong Red. Again, you could make this any color you wanted. Ooh, whoops. I kind of added a weird bit of pressure. I might have to recolor this guy. It's not a very good job. There's a lot of ink on here. We'll see what happens when it dries. And I will have to touch up the edges, but I'm not too concerned about that quite at this stage once we start putting things together. And we may or may not use these hats. I hadn't decided, but we'll color them anyways. So if we decide to use them, then we're ready to go. Okay, and then this rectangle here is part of the large present that you cut in 2 pieces. So there's a frame piece, essentially you inset, or sorry, you, actually, hang on a sec, I'll show you. This doesn't have to be colored beautifully, you'll see why. Let me just grab it to show you. So this is the top layer of that gift. So I'm just wanting a bit of red peeking out behind on this guy, okay? And then we'll, probably don't need to do that. I'm gonna see if I have another sweater because I did not do a very good job coloring this one. I added some pressure, which you don't need with Copic markers. And I'm not very happy with how that sweater looks. But I don't think I have an extra one. Let's see. I have lots of extras, but not an extra of that one. Whatever. We'll make it work. We'll make it work. Okay. So I'm going to just set these aside for a second before we start gluing things together. I'm just going to bring in one more piece. We're going to do some inking onto our background. So I decided, again, for the interests of keeping it simple and easy, to make our card or make our Christmas tree be white. So it's going to be white with some pops of color and some gold and red. Okay, so these are the pieces that I die cut. I die cut the pot from just brush gold cardstock, and then the garland and some of the trim for the presents are cut out of glitter cardstock, as well as the collar for our kitty sweater. Okay. But before that, we're going to kind of create a little background to place our tree. So we're going to make it super, super easy. And I'm just going to bring in this piece of white cardstock. And we're just going to do some light inking with this Lisa Horton Frozen Icicles metallic ink. And this is actually part of this 3-pack. It was the Metallic Winter 2025 ink pad, so that's sold as a set. I'm not sure if we still have that in stock or not. I actually forgot to check the site before I came on here live. But if you Google the Lisa Horton inks, you can kind of see what's there if those pop up. But you could use any ink in your stash. Okay, I've got my foam blending tool and I'm going to resist the urge to press down with this blending tool. Okay, and I just want to keep it a little bit darker at the top. We're going to die cut from this sheet anyways. And just kind of let our ink fade out towards the bottom. Okay. All right. Now I should have inked that first so we could dry, but hey, due to the magic of preparation, I will show you what I pre-inked one before, and then what I did was I die cut this little arch. This is using the Altenew Nesting Arches die set. And just to show you, these are all the arches that come in this set. There's 14 dies. Okay, so previously I die cut this guy, so we're all ready to roll. So let's start putting our individual pieces together. We've got our cats together. Those were super easy to put together. I'm going to grab my red again. And just peel that off so I can just do the edges here. Hopefully as this dries, we kind of lose a little bit of that little heavier inked spot. If not, I might go over it with a glitter pen, because then you won't really notice it. This is our kitty cat sweater. So before we glue it to our cat, let's add our trim to the top of the sweater, or his collar. Let me grab my tweezers, because that's going to be the easiest way. Tweezers and a pickup tool, or like a jewel picker tool, something like this guy, or if you've got the Lawn Fawn tool, these are going to be your best friend for putting these pieces together. So I'll get a little glue here on the collar. And then you'll see we have that nice little kind of embossed line in there to just show us where to line this up. Okay. And then we're going to add that to our black and white kitty. Look how cute that is. And I see a little speck of white here. Now's the time when I want to make sure I've got these edges. All right, so we will add our sweater here. And the one thing I did forget to color was the ribbon. All right, so there is our one kitty cat. Now for this guy, I'm going to touch up his... Where did my brown go? Just going to touch up a couple little pieces here on the inside. It might be difficult to see. There we go. We'll actually just make that darker all the way through. Edge there. There we go. Okay. So I think we're going to put a little hat on this guy. I like the idea of him having a bit of red on him. So we'll maybe put that little Santa hat on, but before that, let's add our trim. We just pick that up and pop that right there. Just going to slide that over. A little glue there. There we go. And then we'll add our little, just a teeny bit of adhesive, and I'll pick up my, oh, it flew. Let's see, we'll do this guy here. And we'll just pop that right on top. There we go. Oh, it stuck to my thumb. Sorry, I'm totally out of frame too. My apologies. Okay. And now we'll put that right on top of our little kitty's head. Okay. And then I'm just going to set that aside so that that can dry. Okay. So now let's move on to our tree. Okay. So again, super easy. We're going to put, this is the trunk. I'm going to put glue here, glue there. Line that up here. Okay. And then I'm going to pop my pot, our gold pot, right on there. And then I die cut the little trim piece on our pot out of glitter gold. They are great sets to play with, for sure. For sure, Glenda. I mean, and if you want to go to town and just, you know, make them exactly like your kitties, super fun to customize. All right, so we've got our pot. Now let's add our garland. So again, you could just use different colored cardstock. You could do all sorts of glitter. Okay, and then we'll do our second one. And I do have one sample where I've used pretty much every die cut in the accessory set and in the cat set as well, so that you'll be able to see what those all look like. Okay, and I will trim those after that dries a little. And oh, where did my other piece of garland go? There you are. These things like to try and hide during Facebook Lives. Not today. You are not running away today. And then our last little bit of garland. And then I've also made this, cut the star out of gold glitter. So it's fun too to play with your different kind of finishes of your cardstock. If you've got like the gold, whoops, sorry, I'm doing that wrong. I don't want to do anything on the back of that yet. It needs to go on the front because my star needs to go right here. And I will have to give it a minute to dry because he's going to adhere right behind this top piece. There we go. Oh, I'm just going to hold it there with my tweezers for a moment. Okay, we'll let that sit and dry. And in the interim, we'll put together, let me grab my other tweezers here, our ornaments. So again, for ease, I left these all the same. Decided to make all the ornaments red. They're going to be red and gold. And I'm just going to lightly go over the edge. So if you're just joining me, I've die cut almost all the pieces out of white cardstock. And then we're adhering the pieces together. Okay, now here's where your pokey pickup tool is going to be your really good friend. So we've got our ornament here. We can add a little bit of glue. You'll see how quickly we get these done. And because I'm adhering it to this brushed gold, a little bit of time for it to slide it around so that it lines up. So there's one. So when you die cut these, it die cuts 6 ornaments at once. So the die for the backer, so the hanging part of the ornament, is a separate die, and then the colored part, the ornament itself, is a separate die as well. But again, it cuts all 6 at the same time. Okay, grab that. Okay, and again, I'm just kind of edging off the bits of area that are white. All right, we'll get that together. Okay, over halfway. Well, we're at the halfway point with our ornaments. And again, you could go over these as well after. If you've got a clear glitter pen, you could, there we go, that's stuck down. You could go over the top of these with a glitter pen, add some sparkle, or die cut them out of glitter paper. Okay, and we've got 2 more to go. Maybe I'll bring both these pieces here all at the same time, just to make it easier. Fab. All right. So again, these are not in the shop yet, but I know they are on their way. So if you keep checking back, or if you know for a matter of fact that you definitely want this as well, you can feel free to post in the comments that you would like to get your hands on one of these, on the Christmas Cats dies when they come in the store, and we can probably get your name on a list and make sure that you'll be able to get your hands on them. All right, last ornament. And July, Spellbinders has a lot of Christmas sets coming out here, July and August. I'll kind of share with you another sample as well of a different set that I know is on its way. All right, so we've got these guys done. All right, so now let's quickly put our presents together. And I'm going to add a little bit of, kind of missed some areas there. Awesome. Okay, so let's glue our larger gift together, and then we'll add the trim. So just gives us that nice little red background there. Packaging on our gift, and then we've got, this is the trim or ribbon, I guess we'll say, for our larger gift. And again, I don't know if you can quite see, but it's got, shows you exactly where to line up your trim. It's got the lines kind of debossed or embossed. I'm not sure what the right word is. Okay, so we'll do that. And look, I didn't really line this up very well. I might have to trim that off a little, but I don't know why. Sometimes these layered pieces, I don't do a great job of lining them up, but I can just trim that background piece a little bit and you won't even be able to tell. All right, so now we've got this gift box, this present as well. Okay, and so I'm just gonna go around the edge here, kind of trim off that red where I didn't line it up all that great. I don't want the red poking out the edges. I just want it to be kind of subtle in the background. And then we'll just give that a little trim. Beautiful. And then I'm just going to trim the edges here too. I just want that to be nice and flush. with the edge of my little gifty. There we go. Fabulous. And then I'm just going to come over here and kind of trim the little bit of the overhang of my garland. There we go. All right. So one last thing on the gifts. We're going to add a little bow on the top of each of them. And then we're going to put this together. Okay. So a little dab, dab, dab of glue. Probably don't need to put it all the places I put it on. This looks like it's a little bit smaller. So we're going to pop that right on top here. Gift number 1. And now our bow on gift number 2. Oh, sorry guys. My apologies. Okay. And then we'll just let that sit while we put our ornaments on. Okay, so I thought it would be fun again, kind of keeping it simple, but using like the red and the gold, and then the red's going to really pop on this, on the white. So I know I've got 6 ornaments. I'm just going to kind of randomly put some glue dots down here, or a little bit of glue. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll do 6 over here. Okay. So now here's our little jewel picker, gem picker tool. Makes this super easy. You can just pick up your die cuts and pop them right down. Fabulous. Okay, so let's grab the foam tape. Actually, before that, I'm just going to grab the card front. And so I did this earlier as well. So I've used the Altenew Deck Plank 3D embossing folder. Okay, and so this is going to be our card front. Okay, so we are going to, we'll be adhering our little oval, or pardon me, arch panel in the front here. Okay, but before we do that, let's pop on our tree. Okay, so we're going to adhere the tree flat, so no foam tape on this, because we're going to be adding some of our other pieces with foam. All right, so I'm going to kind of line that up centered. Okay, so we've got our tree down, and I'm just going to double check my notes here, make sure I've got my layout in the right spot, except my phone's not cooperating. Good grief. All right. Whew. Okay. So we are going to bring in our cute little black and white cat, and he's going to stand right here. And I am going to pop him up. Why not? Okay. And again, if you're just joining us, I have die cut these cats out of white cardstock, and then we've just colored them with Copic markers. So even though I kind of made a little bit of that kind of blobby, I was a little bit too heavy-handed with my Copic marker, I don't mind that. It kind of makes it feel like it's got some texture. Like it's a real knit sweater-ish. Okay, so we're going to pop up our black and white cat here. Okay, and then we're going to place our gifties here. And I think we'll do the larger gift, we'll glue flat, and then we'll pop up that smaller gift. Okay. So I'm going to get my liquid glue here. And because this larger gift, it's 2 layers. I guess really 3 if you count the trim as well. Then it kind of stands out a little bit more on its own. All right. So we'll just kind of push that to the side. Okay, and then we will add our small gift. And I'm just putting a little bit of liquid glue on this foam adhesive just to kind of give me a little wiggle room to move it around. There we go. All right. Now here we have our naughty kitty. And this little guy decided he was going to scale the tree and try to play with one of these ornaments. So we are going to pop him up as well. Okay. Adding a little bit more. There we go. All right. We'll remove that release paper. Now I'm feeling like I might want to add a real thin strip of foam adhesive here, and I think I'm going to do that. I just kind of feel the tail, I want to be able to kind of have that tail glue down as well. I just feel like otherwise it's kind of a weak spot that I wouldn't want it to get caught on taking it in or out of the envelope. All right. Just to give it a little bit of strength. Okay, so let's get this little guy positioned. He's going to be, so his tail is going to hang off. Well, that was dumb. It hangs off the edge anyways, Rosie. Duh. But actually it'll stick onto my card base here. Okay, so now I'm going to stick that on my card front. I feel like that is, I need to measure that. I feel like that is a little bit taller than 5.5. Let's see. I kind of had a pile of stuff. It's a smidgy-ish. I have a pile of card fronts, like just cut out of white cardstock, so sometimes I end up throwing in one that's kind of not really the right size. It's a little bit bigger just because maybe I cut out the piece of paper from, or cut out a, a specific size for something else. Okay, so we're going to glue this down flat. I'm just adding some glue to that. That's my tail. It's going to hang off the edge, which is fine, but I've got that foam tape there, so that's it's going to stay pretty solid. Okay, so now we'll glue this down on our front panel. There we go. Oh, it's a little bit not straight. There we go. All right. And so now we just need the sentiment. So I think I'm going to do, I think I like this one. Wishing you a perfect Christmas. Or we could do, have a possum Christmas. No, we're going to stick with, or Merry Catmas. This one might be nice. What do you think? Catmas or wishing you a perfect Christmas? I think perfect Christmas. I'm going with perfect Christmas. Actually, to be honest, I think I'd prefer Merry Catmas. Yep, that's the one I like. And we're going to pop that up as well. Okay, I will trim that. And then we'll just cut a few thinner strips here. And one more. All right. And then we'll adhere, and we'll adhere this. And then if you wanted, you could add some gems to the front of this too. I think that would be really pretty as well. I might do that, but I might do that off camera. All right, here we go. Merry Catmas. Awesome. So there is our Christmas cats card. So super simple, came together quite easily. And so again, that is on its way to the store. So it should be there, I'm not sure exactly when, I can't say when, hopefully next week at the latest. But let's take a look here at a couple of other samples. This was the sample that we made in a Spellbinders class, or a retailer class. And if you look here, this little guy, he's actually on a spinner. So he spins around. So these things are great. I have them here. This is what they look like. They're just these little gold discs that spin. Super easy to use. Okay. And then I played around with this. So this particular one uses all the pieces. So here we've got our broken ornament, our little kitty here was playing with. All right, this guy's thinking about jumping on the tree. Our little friend here is just hanging out. And our little buddy down here got all tangled up in the Christmas lights. And one of the gifts. So that's what those lights look like. So super, super fun. And then this background is actually this Mama Elephant 5 window frame. Last time I looked, it was still in stock, if you kind of like that layout. Awesome. Okay, so that's what I have for you today. Again, there will be I won't be live next week. No live demo. I'm away on vacation, so you'll have to join me the week of the 30th. I will be back. And just a reminder for those of you here in Calgary and who are planning to come to Scrapaganza, registration opens July 23rd. So that's next Thursday at 9 a.m. Okay, so hopefully if you're in the Calgary area, you can make it. Yeah, if you want to travel for a little trip to Calgary, we'd love to see you. Scrapaganza is September 25th and 26th. And there's more details on the website. There's a link on the website to all the information about it. If you can't come and crop with us, you're more than welcome to come and shop with us as well. Thanks, Glenda. Awesome. Well, thanks for popping in, everyone. Thanks for taking the time out to hang out with me for a bit, and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, everyone. Take care. Bye.